This is a Market Week Stock Market Brief for August 7th, 2025. I'm off tomorrow. My team has got a great show for you tomorrow. You're going to absolutely love it. I'm just bringing a look at the stock market for today because there's a lot of gyrations going on. Before I get into that, I want to announce this week we launched Slim AI. This is amazing. Go to the askSlim.com website. Go right over here where you see my little icon down over there and click on that. And you can actually talk to my virtual twin live. Absolutely amazing. Talk about markets, talk about educational stuff. It's great. And of course, if you're an askSlim member, levels 1 to 4, then you get the full boat. Just tons and tons of great teachings and great processes from our AI. So go down there at askSlim.com and talk to Slim AI. You're just going to absolutely be amazed. All right, we're going to look at the analysis of the stock market. We'll look at SPY and our level 4 indicators, and our MCM Pro, Market Condition Monitor, and lots of great stuff coming up. For this week, well, the stock market fought back after a 3.3% drop at the end of last week. And we had Trump's reciprocal tariffs take effect. They're expected to have a dynamic effect on average revenues of about 150 billion to 200 billion a year, average over the next 10 years. What that essentially means is the net effect, because there's a negative economic effect, there's positive revenues, and it's supposed to be about 150 to 200 billion a year. Nobody really knows. 100% tariffs on semiconductors threatened unless you get the carve out, unless your company agrees to spend a lot of money here building out stuff in the U.S. And we've seen a lot of techs say they're going to do that, and the techs led the upside in here as Apple surged upward on that news. Electronic consumer products, well, they're expected to jump up in costs. I've seen a lot of crazy estimates on what an iPhone would cost if they actually built it all here in the United States, well over $2,000. So far, that potential inflationary issue has been ignored by the market as the market has tried to get to the upside. And today we've seen a lot of gyrations going on. Earnings have brought very wide moves. Now that 2/3 of the S&P has reported, this is interesting because the stocks that beat on average have gained on that day 3.5%. Now, if you go back on the 5-year historical average, stocks that beat in the S&P 500 moved up an average of 1.9%. So they're almost doing twice as well on the upside. Misses, while the one-day losses have averaged 2.9% versus an average of 2.3% over the last 5 years. So we have more volatility going on during this earnings time period here. And I think we're in for a lot more volatility in the stock market. For the first 4 days of this week, the major indexes, they had solid gains of 1 to 3%. That says sold. I meant solid. The NASDAQ, the strongest, is the AI led on the upside. The Dow, the weakest, hurt by Caterpillar, Salesforce, and Visa, which all had big losses. So interesting gyrations going on in the market. We've seen a couple days where the market tried to get to the upside, but the advanced declines did not do that well. And we've seen the second, third tier of the market actually not doing well at all. So that's what we had going on this week. I want to remind you that we have our special going on, level 4 for 3 months. 35% off, just $303. You get everything on here. That is just amazing. Everything that we do, there's just so much information that you get, including Slim AI Beta, and that's only an average of 101.25 a month versus 159 a month. So it's just so much you're going to get here. I can't even name it. Here's an example of the ranking system, which just gives you the 84 best symbols that are the widely held, and it gives you our outlook for the next 3 to 6 weeks, the directional biases in there. This is old in here. This isn't new, so don't look at those readings. And then you can get our static version of our charts with all of analysis on there. So that's a great thing to get. And of course, you get our trade ideas. Arby is phenomenal at this. I don't even want to say this out loud, but you can see it, the bias accuracy in here, and this beautiful numbers right over here of a total trade idea accuracy, which means it actually entered the buy zone, hit the target zone. Just crazy. So making that kind of great directional decisions, fantastic. Of course, I've got those trades hidden in here. So you want to get that, become a level 4 member, and you'll be able to get our trade ideas, which he does a number of them every single week. Great job on that, Arby. And of course, you can go to here to the top of the web page, sign up there, click that button. You'll get some more details there, and you'll be able to take advantage of this great 35% offer. So that's level 4, our top tier membership. Let's look at the analysis on the stock market. We're going to look at SPY, cycle analysis and projections, with our level 4 indicators and our market condition monitor. Remember, we are cycle analysts. What that means is we look at the rhythms in the market, the money flows. It's an observational way to look at the rhythms in the market, and we have this art form that we've presented now for decades that we have just a great number of students of this kind of work. And then we add in excellent technical indicators to really help us with that analysis. And I'm going to illustrate to you right now what that looks like. This is SPY, the S&P 500. What you see on here is the reversal scout, and what this is giving you momentum indicator. And of course, what it does is scout out reversals. Well, you can see in here it hasn't scouted out any reversals on the intermediate. And what we've looked at in here was the potential for a very small correction. Now, we had 3.3%, and I looked at other similar time periods where you had this type of structure, and they were often only about 2 to 3%. Sometimes they were as much as 5%, but this is, a really powerful looking market with potentially a sideways correction that's going on. I'm going to show you on the daily chart right over here that you see this is the exact same time frame as this right over here. So what it's done is it's moved up the support level on the slim ribbon, which is just a fantastic indicator. On the bottom here is the slim ribbon PO. This you'll get with level 4, and where these green arrows come, that tells you that there's an upside resumption in momentum. You had one right over here which got this pop going up here in the market, but then it got up to resistance, and today has really rolled over in a significant way. So let's just take a look at the cyclical patterns in here. And this minor cycle right there, there's a dominant cycle. This is called the harmonic family. Please do go up to our workshop area at askSlim.com. There's a free video in there, and you can watch that. And you can learn about it, or ask Slim AI about that, and it'll give you a good idea about our workshop because it knows all of that, which is just amazing. Let's look here at what we were looking at, and that's the potential for just a little pullback in here. And we've had a little bit of a pullback, and we may get a little bit more. If I look at the daily pattern in here, you can see these cycles. Let's just look at these last 3 right over here. And you can see you actually had an evening star, you had an engulfing pattern, and then it came down here and almost broke that support right over there, but then started to move up. You see the slim ribbon, it never turned negative. It's been positive the whole time. Slim ribbon PO stays green. The option bias indicator has stayed P3, which means it's as bullish as it gets. Telling you that you could stay on the long side if you're, have your positions in the indexes biased that way. But still, we were looking for this downside move. Now, this, I want to look at it a little bit differently, because you can see in here that this is a sideways move that it's really looking for. The ideal timing, in other words, I'm going to move this down so there's some clarity, is somewhere between 8 and 19, where we would be expecting the market to finish this corrective period here on the daily, which then would finish this corrective period here on the weekly and try to move up again. We thought it was going to be a little steeper on the downside, but this move up here to that 78.6% right over here, that red line, even though it failed there, that tells us that this period over the next week could get a pullback, but probably will not get below here, or not much below that 619 area. But this is really not a great looking pattern in here, because it really needs to complete this cycle right here, which should give you some downside. over the next week. And again, we're only looking for something modest. The positive resolution of this, were to come out positive, would look more like this. In other words, this rally in here would continue, would get up past here, and then hit the resistance level over here. But you can see it really doesn't want to do that. And that's not a high probability that it would do that. The more negative look over here is really this one right over here, which was really more like what we were looking for, which is that it either comes down and tests and breaks this low right over here, or gets down to that next support at around 600 right there. Those are not big declines percentage-wise, but still, this is that period where we expect it to go down. That's the alternative negative track, but I'm really going to stick pretty closely to what I think is this neutral, more neutral sideways chopping area right in here, where it gets down maybe to test this level 620-ish or something like that, and then begins to move up again. So that's the overall look. It's really not it's maybe a great trading market with all of the movement that's in here, but it's really much looking like a sideways corrective period when I look here at this period right here, and the likely little bit more correction here, this period right in here, and the likely little more corrective period in here. And you can see then again trying to get to the upside to higher levels. That important level is about 648. And that is a monthly extension level up there, and it's pretty reasonable to see it get there after this sideways corrective chop is completed. So that's a look here at the weekly, a look at the daily. Let's take a look at our market condition monitor now that we've looked at the indicators that are on here. And what this does is it takes our algorithms and puts them into different time frames. So this is the MCM. This is included with level 4. And I have this set to intermediate right there. So the intermediate is suggesting, as I look in here at the 4 indexes, that the SPY and the QQQ are still bullish. Now they've come down from very bullish to bullish. So there's a little bit of a downtick in there, which occurred a week ago. And you can see IWM and DIA, they're neutral. So this is really pretty much what we're looking at, bullish, slightly bullish to neutral in this market over the intermediate term. If I look at the short term in here, you're going to see that there has been some changes that have occurred in here. So these were neutral, the SPY and QQQ. They went up to slightly bullish. You see those little bells in there. That's because we have, for our level 4 members, a notification system that you can put in here. So I'm going to tell it to tell me when it goes from slightly bullish up to bullish. So it's going to send me it's going to send me a message on my platform in here when I want that. So there's the QQQ, and you can see that's set where it shows you there on the weekly, daily, and 2 hour. Just a great look at that right there. And now I'm going to go here to notify myself on the from neutral. I'm going to make this bullish, so I want to know when it goes from slightly bullish to bullish, and then I'll know that the market is improving. And so that will then give me those indications when that happens. You can download our application, notification application, and it'll put up these notifications right on your desktop. So you can see in here slightly bullish. Let's take a look on the short term at the stocks that are the 10 worst and 10 best right now on the very bullish in readings right there. It's interesting, AbbVie, a drug company, is now very bullish, and of course a lot of the drug companies haven't done well. Exelon, AppLovin Corp, Kroger, EWI, which is Italy, BABA, MSI, LVS. These are stocks that are very bullish when you see that. And that's the trade setup condition. In other words, you'd want to have your biases on the long side on these. The ones that are very bearish, you can see right over here. Roper, Adobe, Atlassian, Van Eck, Eli Lilly. There's another drug stock. The healthcare sector, you can see that. The medical device sector, very bearish. Of course, soybeans have done really bad, and Comcast. So that rounds out the top 10 here on the very bearish. So you could see the just great application here. I want to, every week when I do these, I want to show you this because, well, I want you to want it because it's so fantastic, and I want you to see the top 10 and worst 10. That's why I look at that. So I think that you got a good look there at what the stock market looks like. Again, we're looking at what really looks like a sideways chop in here, corrective period. Doubt it's going to be down more than, the 3.3 or maybe 4% in the whole correction, and then probably back to the upside. Let's just look for a lot of chop in here and maybe a very, very good trader's market going forward, which it's chopping around today, and I do like that. So that's a look at the stock market. Please do get acquainted. Sign up for Snapshot Lite on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel. Click that notification bell, and do like this video. Give it some thumbs up. On X, follow it at askSlim. Follow us at askSlim. Don't forget to go look at Slim AI on the front page and talk to my virtual twin there. You're absolutely going to love it. That's it. Any questions, write to Matt at askSlim.com. I want you to be so careful because it is so crazy out there, and I'm always wishing you great trading.
Well, I'm going to sit and